Okay, hello. You're welcome to Opinion Sharers. My name is Paul, and it is the first show of the year. So it's Happy New Year to our beloved viewers and those who relate with us here on this platform. And so instead of our fixation on a lot of current issues during the last year, we decided to take it, take a step backward to look at what we really are intending to do with this platform. And so that's why we are bringing in a show that has to do with family. So we are looking at the recent changes in family structure, looking at it from the perspective or perception of African, because after all, we are all Africans, and majority of our viewers are Africans as well. And so, I'm going to allow my guests to introduce themselves, and after which we will go straight into the discussion. I will start with the village boy, and please, while village boy introduce himself, please let others go ahead and share the link on their platform. Village boy, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Bolutife Uluwadele. I'm an accountant, general accountant, and public policy analyst. I'm also an author. Happy New Year to all our viewers.
All right, thank you, sir. Michael.
Good evening and Happy New Year to our viewers. It's good to be back again. I'm Michael Olagun by name. I'm a development practitioner. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Michael. Mommy, please.
Okay. Happy New Year from all of us once again. My name is Dorothy Chinenye Frantelo. I am a relationship coach and an actress. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, ma. One of these days, if you see our mommy in front of your screen, please click and watch. Timlain.
Thank you. Happy New Year to all our viewers and welcome back on the show. My name is Timila Yogutuyaki. I am a geoscientist and a researcher. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. So I'm just going to go straight to the point so that we don't waste time. Please go and share the link. Go and share and share and share and share. The issue, I want Village Boy to please help me as a social scientist to look at, so that people will understand the structure of family. What does it mean when you say family structure?
Family structure is usually we have the nuclear family structure, then we have the extended family structure, especially when you bring in Africa into the perspective. The nuclear family structure is the man, the woman, the husband and the wife, and the children, which are the primary or nuclear family. But quite often in African society, especially for urban dwellers, it is not always uncommon to see a cousin, a nephew, a distant cousin living within a family setup. So we can now say in Africa, usually it is a kind of the concept of extended family, whereby it is not just the man, the husband, the wife, and their biological children alone. Even sometimes children stay, especially for some profession like teacher, like priest. You see children of neighbors, coming to stay with you. So, in our concept of family in Nigeria is not that nuclear prior to this time, but it seems that those dynamics are beginning to change. So, it's either, for Africa, I think I will go for the extended family structure because almost 80 to 90% of city dwellers don't stay alone with only their children, their biological children. There's always one person that distant cousin or nephew, or even somebody from your village staying with you, and you are family, literally speaking.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, I'm going to ask Mommy Dorothy. I want you to help us understand some of these family structures, like Village Boy as a lady foundation. What are those, basic things that have changed that you have witnessed in your lifetime?
Thank you so much. One of the basic things I have noticed is the disintegration of the family setting. Now, a lot has happened along the line that many members of families now disintegrate their children from their uncles, their aunties, their cousins, their nephews. People who live in cities or who live abroad, Nigerians who live abroad or in cities, no longer allow their children to mingle with their cousins, with their uncles, and with their other families. They think somehow, I don't know how we came to that level of thinking that our uncles, our families, our aunties are evil, or our cousins, our nephews will harm our children. So everybody keeps their children to themselves. And in the long run, these children grew up not knowing any family member except their mother and father. They don't know any uncle, they don't know any auntie, they don't know any cousin, they don't know any nephew. Back then, we grew up together with these people and we integrated. So that's where the disintegration started from. Now, when these children, when they are older, particularly those who live abroad, who live outside their villages, taking them back home when they're already grown is a problem. They don't want to go back home because they don't know any culture, they don't have any friends there. So you can't blame the children for saying they want to stay put in abroad where they are. They don't want to go home. They don't have anything to do, but they didn't grow up with them. They didn't know anything about them. So at the end of the day, parents also get disintegrated themselves because they don't want to go back home without their children, without their family. So you see Nigerians staying wherever they are, and then only when they die, they are not their coffin is not taken home. That's all. So you see, it's a serious disintegration. I don't know how we're going to go about putting it together. Today, another thing is we now have baby mamas, baby papas, no more husband, wife, children staying together. We have a lot of single mothers today, a lot of single fathers. These are all family integrations. And at the long run, it boils down to the kids. That's why we have more children that are in disarray, that are that have gone astray. Let me not say disarray. Children that have gone astray because there's no foundation. You see, when parents don't no longer live together as it used to be, the children are also disintegrated. When parents are raising such kids, single parents all over the place, these children grew up not knowing their left from right. They just learn things from their friends, and they have no solid knowledge of how a family should be. So you see, the juvenile delinquency abound, disobedience, and drug, alcohol. These are all the effects of family disintegration because the country, a nation starts from the home. If the home is not together, it's hard for a nation to be together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, I want Timileyin to help us look at some other things that you have seen, in the family that seem to be these changes, so-called changes that we are talking about. I want us to, first of all, itemize some of these changes. Then, if we have time, we can, take them one by one. Like Mom Dorothy has itemized the disintegration, whereby it's more nuclear now, and there are no longer, there are places where there are no fathers, no mothers, baby mamas and stuff like that. Timileyin, please.
Thank you very much for this question. Even though I would be one of these youngest persons on this platform today, I think Yeah, we are still allowed to. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to hear our opinion. So I think I will give credit to our parents for the level of maturity they have displayed over time that we could not carry on with. Especially if you look at extended family settings, for instance, you would see our parents, irrespective of whatever beef or whatever grudges they have against their own people, maybe their siblings or their own other members of the family, they will not bring it close. They will not bring it close to the children. So they are actually shielding their relationship, the issues they have in their relationship with their own families. They are shielding the children from it so that they don't carry on with that sense of bitterness or sense of keeping malice with those members of the, and it has helped us. And that's why we see our own cousins, play together right from childhood. But what I have noticed over time now is that the so-called cousins that we played with while we were children, as people began to grow and they're having their own families, you just see they call it wokeness or being woke or maturity. You will just realize that they start comparing what level of education you have had, and all of those things create subtle bitterness when people tend to say, okay, well, this person has moved away and I don't think we have anything to do with that person anymore, or this person couldn't make it to my wedding party and that's the end. I mean, I can't keep up with such person. And at the end of the day, they keep on reiterating these kind of things to their own children. And this is leading to the deeper disintegration, as Madam Dorothy have said before. So I think it is about not being modest with, handling issues. We are not being modest in our own generation. We are not being modest, and we are too. It's not as if we are not being truthful. We are truthful, but then we are too blunt. And I don't think we are mature enough to balance relationship, because the person that has done something really fantastic for you today might end up doing something that will piss you off the next. So if we have that emotional intelligence to understand that is just being human, but people are really unforgiving, and it's a cultural. I think it's a foundational thing that if we are bitter, it will show. Your children will see it and they will carry it on. If you are unforgiving, your children will see it. If you are proud, too proud for nobody can actually talk to you, not even your parents. These are the things that people will say and stay away from you. They will give you your own space. And when your own family members are kind of giving you space, then there is problem. Because it is not as if all of the whatever that is causing issue between siblings or cousins, it's not as if it didn't happen in the past, but there is respect. There is something called respect, that there is an elder to call people to order. When a father actually calls his children, they will actually come and listen. And that's respect. But today, we seem to be more educated than our parents. We seem to be unyielding to our elderly advice, and we seem to be overly woke. So we really do not want to listen to anybody. So we have made it, so to say, so now, and this really shows, and this shows a great weakness in our generation, that, we seem to respect people for what they have. This person has money, then I can listen to him. He doesn't have money, I have nothing to do with him. Now, maybe you probably have money than your parents. You seem not to listen to them anymore. Now you seem to have achieved greater educational level than them. You seem not to listen. You feel like you know more than them. You are more exposed. But the Yoruba says that what the elderly used to eat pap is under.
I'm going to have to stop you. I'm very sorry. Even though you are making a lot of sense.
I know.
Yeah, you are making a lot of sense, but I have to stop you. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I want Village Boy to add his own views in terms of some of these changes that you have seen Perhaps I don't know who is older between you and Mommy Dorothy, but in your
I
own
think the
experience,
village
what
boy
are
is
those
older.
changes that you have observed? One, please let me add one to it. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Yeah, I want to add to it. Why are these changes? I guess we need to also look at what is the reason behind some of these changes. I will ask Michael another question, but if Michael also have observed some changes, some of these significant changes you can also mention. All right.
Thank you very much. When Timina was speaking, what came to my mind, like the governance, the family governance structure has shifted. Because when you talk about in those days, when we were growing up, those of us who had the real privilege of being brought up in the villages, they say that a parent give birth to a child, but the whole village train that child. So I've seen cases where my uncle will beat me from the field to the house, and nothing will happen. They will either exchange the beating again to others. I think the governance structure in the family has changed. So yes, people became educated, but one thing I also see in that has caused this, especially in the urban cities, is the economic factor, the struggle for money. So it started when everything became monetized, where parents, had to wake up, leave house by 4 a.m. and come back by 11 p.m. So barely seeing their children, and we are both in those days, women are actually were involved in what we call soft skill. They go to work. Those who work, they go to work, but they come back like between 2 and 5 or 4. So you see more women in teaching profession. So they come back, they take care of the family. But now when you see a woman, a husband and the wife, they are working in the same bank. They all leave home by 4 a.m. and come back by 11 p.m. Everybody is tired, and then the technology came into the mix. So what they do to supplement for that human relations is to buy equipment for the children. So the children literally are training themselves. So when children are training themselves, it's like you can't, give what you don't have. So there's that gap. There's a parental gap. Then there is the issue of because of the especially the cost of education, for instance, it becomes almost difficult for struggling parents to want to say, okay, I want to send my children to school. Then I also want to train my cousin. I want to train my, the child of my auntie, the child of my uncle. It became, practically difficult. And of course, because these children were not brought up, so the only thing they know is money. The only thing that gives them value is money. They think money, all values are embedded in money. So the respect for others is not there. In those days, they tell us that they want to report us to our teachers. We have to beg. We have to appeal. In fact, we make sure we do some good errands so that not that. Or they want to go and report it to your catechist. That one is like you are going to hellfire straight. You will prostrate and you say, okay, anything you want me to do, I will do. So please don't report me. But now nobody gives a damn. So if I want to go scriptural, it's like if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? So the governance structure has collapsed, mainly because there is a weight of economic weight, and that has also made the children, the younger people, to think that everything about value, everything about life is money. If you are wise, you don't have money, nobody respects you. So yeah.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. This one, I want Michael to quickly answer this. Now, how are people responding to some of these changes? If you have noticed some of these specific changes that has been mentioned or that personally, how do you see people responding to them, especially in your sojourn in Nigeria?
Thank you so much. I don't know if I will have the time to really contribute to what has been said earlier on, and permit me to come from this angle. I used to have two grannies. My late great grandmother died at the age of 129 years, and our younger brother died at the age of 117 years. And while growing up, these are people that I used to be very close to before they died. My late great grandmother, every morning when our younger brother comes to greet her, whatever food my mom serves her, she will keep certain quantity for our younger brother to eat. Perhaps when he comes, maybe hungry, he will bring out a small mirror for him to look at his face. They will talk about how their mother nurtured them, the way they grew up, going to farm, plenty years. So all those tales really meant a lot to me. But recently I was discussing with a friend about this particular matter and how family disintegration is getting wider by day. And we need to actually ask ourselves about this issue of being educated and being westernized. Permit me, I'm using these two words carefully because they mean two different things to me. Yes, education is good. It has opened our eyes to a whole lot of things, but we have over westernized our brain, our mind, to the point that we have jettisoned those things that really contributed to communal living in the past. That's when you see a man that has, my grandfather used to have 3 wives before he died, and they all lived relatively peacefully. There was no issue as such. They were all living together. The first wife will serve him the food the first day, the following day, and all of those things. So my issue with, we have jettisoned those key values that has really helped in harmonizing us as Africans in the past. Then number two is the issue of class struggle. I want to be better than you. In an attempt to say I want to be better than you, to hell with whoever does not want to align with your own philosophy. And this, as it's to me, is part of the westernization of our brain that I have earlier said. And one thing is also very important is intentional submissiveness to authority. Back in the days, just like Village Boy said, as a young person, they dare not bomb me well, permit my language, to actually pass a street. I see elders seated and I refuse to greet them. They will call you and say, Toba Dele, tell your father that I beat you because you refuse to greet me. All these things no longer exist in our community, because they will say it's only a man that gives birth to a child, but it is a community that comes together as one entity to train such child. So inability to submit to authority, everybody just want to be, everywhere is turning to madhouse, and it's really causing a lot of havoc in our society. And social stratification, I think that has to do with class struggle. Having said that, I think to go back to the question is, how are people adjusting at home? Whatever is good to us, we tend to see them as what is bad, and whatever is bad outside, we tend to get ourselves endeared to them. For example, now, I grew up not seeing women putting on trousers in the real sense of it. I'm only using this as illustration. I am not saying wearing trousers is bad. Please, for the sake of our audience. Another thing is not valuing our body. I asked my great grandmom one day, my grandmother rather, she said anytime she wants to pound for her husband, she must make sure that she's well dressed, which is a sign of honor and all of those things. And in addition to that, I would say that we are a set of people that sees external things as things that are good, and those are our rich cultural value that promotes unity, that promotes harmony, that promotes communal living, that aids our meekness and responsibility as Africans. We have now seen them as things that really does not count. They are eroding away daily, and this has created a whole lot of gap within the family space. Yes, many of us are educated in the true sense of it, but the education we have acquired or we are acquiring daily creates gap between us and other family members. And lastly, I would say that the economic survivor, yes, because if you must work to make ends meet, you want to meet as a man, you want to be responsible at home, you have to work around the clock, almost around the clock, to make sure your family, they are well catered, taken care of. So the time is really not there. Those things that used to be things of fun in the past, now they have been commoditized or monetized in the real sense of it. And everybody wants to live in the city. And I think migration has also contributed immensely to our family division. Let me stop there. Thank you.
All right, Michael, thank you. Mommy, I'm going to ask you this question. Not that I planned to ask this question before, but as this discussion is progressing, that's when I, arrived at it. The question is, despite that we are now living in nuclear families, majority, a lot of people, even in Africa now, it's only me and my husband, me and my wife, a spouse and their children. But what we are seeing is that there's still relatively no peace compared to people that lived in large family houses where there are multiple wives or, several people. Why? What's happening?
If I'm to go a little scriptural, the philosopher Ecclesiastes says he has seen so many things in life, so many bitter things. They've never seen anything as worse or bitter as a woman. I don't know what he means by that, because I'm a woman. But I'm looking at it. Our forefathers refused to train women. They refused to give women power, because somehow they realized that if you train a woman and give her power, you're going to cause a problem. But somehow that their idea wasn't good, because I'm not trained, But somehow I've discovered that most of the problem we have in families today is traceable to women. Women who have ostentatious lifestyle, women who believe in designers, even if their family is dying of hunger. If their husband has no money, they must wear designers. They must wear bone straight. They must fix their nails. They must spend a lot of money on cosmetics. They must do breast and nyash enhancement. Forgive my language. So we have those days. If there's peace at home, it's a woman. If there's trouble at home, it's a woman. A woman is endowed by God. A woman is too many good things put together. If a woman is intentional about peace at home, believe me, there'll be peace. If she's intentional about trouble at home, no matter how you try, there will be that trouble. So it's our today's mothers really have to help in the homes. Those days, women will take up jobs that will give them time to watch over their children and to train their children. But today, women go for highest paying jobs. Even if it takes them away from their children, they don't care. There's also competing with their husbands. He has PhD, I must have PhD. Sometimes this is not how if you have to sacrifice for your children, if we are chasing all the money and losing our children as women, at the end of the day, women are so blessed, because no matter what we do, our children end up taking care of us more than our husbands. See what is happening today. Most women that have gone for Mugo in outside Nigeria, they've abandoned their husbands in Nigeria. They're no longer going back. Their children have taken them over, and their husbands have become married bachelors. They're not looking back. They don't care. But yet, women contributed to the issue of children not having proper foundation. Those days, the woman will support her husband. If her husband says, by 7 o'clock, every child must be in this house, a particular child will connive with the mother and come back at 11. She will open the door for him. When you are teaching such a child to disobey the father's instruction, that child will go up to disobey police, to disobey his boss in the office, because he will think that's a normal thing to do. Some men are also doing it. Everything we are talking about here is parental failure. In the home, you see a man struggling to impress the children, a woman struggling to impress the children, each of them struggling to get the children to their side, for the child to say, my mother lost more than my father lost more than my mother. So they are using money. A child will ask for money. The father will say, I have 50, I have only 50, I can't give you 200. Behind the father, the mother will give that child that 200. So at the end of the day, that child will think the father is useless. That child will think the father is not worth any respect. In many of the homes today, children don't respect their father. They respect their mother more, because she has the money now, even more than their father, and she gives. Some men, by nature, even when they have more money, I don't think many men encourage their children to disregard or disrespect their mother. But it's women, particularly when you have issues with your wife, they will call the children, and some of them will call the children and make the children feel so bitter about their father. and the children will take sides with their mother. These are things, similarly you said, those days, parents kept these troubles away from the children. They discuss it among themselves. They find solution instead of making the children bitter against the other. And at the end of the day, you are spoiling these children. And today, children are so selfish and self-centered. So they don't want to compromise. There's no empathy. Why? The children do not teach, the parents do not teach them. When a child is small and refuses to share anything with the siblings, you will say, no, he's a small boy, he's a small child, he will grow. No, that is going to stop that child. Let him know there's love in sharing. Teach that child to be accommodating. Teach that child to respect the seniors at home, even the maids. There's some parents, some women allow their maids to beat their house helps, talk to their house help anyhow they like. So you teach these children from home, catch them young, teach them respect, teach them empathy, teach them tolerance, teach them forgiveness. Say, no, we are busy supporting the children, saying they will grow, they will understand when they grow. That's the general problem. So I'm saying that, dear woman, if you're out there, don't be angry with me. I'm not condemning you. You are a bundle, an embodiment of good things. Just help the nation, help your family. Teach this embodiment. You are capable of keeping peace at home, of keeping trouble. You are capable of the two. A woman can be anything, any day. We are so endowed. But please, let's look deep. If there's no respect in the home, you speak to your husband before your children, call him stupid, idiot, or the mumu. How would that work? Even some men too have now become experts. A man will carry chair and sit down, abuse me, abuse you. Where did you guys learn all these things from? And the children are watching. So how would those children go out and have good relationships? The children will continue to go from family to family, and there will be no end to it. Thank you.
All right, man. Thank you very much. That's loaded. Thank you. Village boy, I don't know if I'm following the progression, but if Village boy can help me here, I want us to move towards the way forward. Now, the question is, how best can we manage these changes? You know, some of these changes are probably inevitable, you know, but in today's world, is it possible for us to manage these changes, both individual and individually and collectively?
Well, if I want to be very sincere, and it's going to be a difficult task. You can't do it collectively any longer. But individually, I think it is still possible for people listening, people who have been bothered by what is going on, to say, okay, I want to make some changes. And for also there are still about 5-10% family who are still holding on to the old ways. But I won't tell you that one itself is a lot of it's a lot of effort, it's a lot of struggle, because you have a situation today that even children can come to you and say, look, this person is living with us. It's our cousin, it's our nephew, it's our this thing. Why is he living with us? It's like he's taking his enjoying our resources, send him away. The children of the day will tell you that. They can tell you that what is he doing? What is he doing here? So when you see on that again, because again, when parents don't sit down, it's not as if they sat us down and told us that these people have to live with us. I grew up, there was no time when I was in the village that one nephew, one cousin, one niece, one auntie is not living with us. Especially in my own family, there is always, even up till now, it's like a room or two is always reserved in our family house that somebody that is not a direct sibling is always living there. And we are called them the same respect. We know that they are not a direct sibling, but we are called them the respect because that is what we saw our parents treating them as one of us. They can do anything to us like our siblings. It's going to be a bit difficult because even now the Japa generation now is going to even further complicate it. Because even here now, I can tell you, you meet your average, not even Nigerian, average black brother or sister in the mall, and you are trying to greet them, they will remove their face. So when you look at all this, where do you want to start from? Where do you want? Because you see, right? I remember in those days when we were living in the northern Nigeria, when we see WP, when we see OD something, we park and greet ourselves. No, like we are from our own number plate. Then was, I mean, you see anybody ODJ on the highway in the north, you will flash yourself and you will park. You don't know each other. You will greet and you move. You continue your journey. So those things are no longer there. I don't know whether it will be easy to bring it back, especially now that the economy is not even smiling on anybody everywhere in the world. So because the root cause now has moved to economy. Economic consideration is going to be a major challenge to get that back. But you, myself, Madam Dorothy, we can say, okay, you want to retain the old philosophy. Few of us can do that. But collectively, I doubt it.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. It's just a pity that if we are not able to do anything about it, and even me now, I feel guilty in a lot of ways by this discussion, because to be honest, I have not been in touch with my extended family members, so I just feel guilty. It's unfortunate.
At least your conscience is still alive.
Yeah, it is.
Go ahead. Yeah. So let's see at least Timile perspective again. He has always spoken.
Yeah, let me. I want to ask Timile, if you still want to contribute to this particular question, feel free to. But I have another question for you, and the question pertains to some of us who are, a little bit still younger and younger, and there's an idea, especially as we become more educated. We become a little bit more westernized, and the issue of individuals or individualism becomes very paramount to us. So my question is, how can we still develop, as an individual, and still maintain what I call collectivist culture or collectivity? I'm sure you understand what I mean by that.
To an extent, yes. So let me begin by adding to the Village Boys' perspective. I think the Village Boy and Madam Dorothy have actually done justice to the way forward. But one thing that actually struck me is where we can go from here. We cannot go back and start calling everybody. Not even everybody we want to ask, because you've left them, just like you said, you've left them for a very long time. Not everybody would embrace you back the way you say, okay, let's come together. But the point is, especially for people that are having young families right now, our children are watching us. Mm-hmm. So whatever, it's very easy for a parent to say, hey, you stop doing this, it's not good. But the best lesson we can give them is to act it. You want them to be compassionate yourself. You want them to accommodate people, be accommodating yourself. Be respectful. So it is your own values that you would pass on to them. It wouldn't necessarily be scolding them and telling them all the time. When they see you do things repeatedly, they know that this is your own character and you are the first role model they have. So going forward, I believe that we will stand a chance at having a better future if our children see us do good things, when they see us do the right thing. So that's one thing I want to add to that. And how we can maintain our individualistic nature and still balance it with being collective, right? That's the actual question. And the way I would first tackle it is to see the consequences of not seeing that we need other people, that we need our family. Because when everything at the end of the day, you realize that it's only your family that cares about you at the end of the day. See, the strangers, everyone will come and they will go. they will go. So when we see the consequence, because the consequence of, putting family aside and say, I am on my own, number one is that we make irrational decisions. We just do things. And especially in this age that, people don't really interact with their families, and they seem to be, everybody, it's human nature to want to be loved. So people get vulnerable to the wrong people. All in the name of seeking love. You get vulnerable to the wrong people. You go on social media, tell the world about your life so that you can get engagement. You just make yourself vulnerable to the wrong people. People do not necessarily need to have access to your life. You bring them into your life knowingly or unknowingly, and at the end of the day, you will actually bear the brunt by yourself. So when we first see that aspect, that there are consequences for these things, so there are people that you will talk to in your family and it stays there. There are people that you need a shoulder to lean on, they will provide it. But the people outside there is a wicked world. I'm not saying everybody out there is wicked, but it's a generally wicked world. So when we first see that there could be love from home, and what we would do is not seeking love outside. We will even exude love outside, that people will see that this person is loved. So in that way, I think it begins with you and I again to see that we have to be considerate. And one of the reasons why people say, I don't want family, is people are just selfish, and people are greedy, and people are inconsiderate or reasonable. For instance, if I am the village boy's niece now, I am maybe nephew rather now, and I want to go to his place and I see that, well, their resources in their home can only accommodate to a certain extent, and I even want more than even the people at home. That means I'm inconsiderate. So there are things we would, if we find ourselves in the shoes of the beneficiary in this time, like at this point, maybe you are the one that is hosting me. I should know my level in your home. That's it. Maybe I should just put it that way. I should know my level, know how not to cross boundary, know how to understand people's needs as well. So I think we can still accommodate people in our home, but only if the other party also understands that there is a limit to everything. And I think that has to be preached very well. There is a limit to everything. Being reasonable, being considerate is one important thing in human interaction. Otherwise, we will bring it together again and it will shatter at the end of the day.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Sorry, can I just take 1 minute?
Okay.
Sorry, thank you, Timlane. You see, even while being open, there's always a line to draw. There's always a line to draw. There's always discipline to maintain. My people say, if handshake is here going to elbow, is becoming something else. You always draw the line when you are dealing with everyone. And it is okay to call the family to abandon. They don't have to call you back. Those that will call you back is fine. Just call, it's a new year. Use the condition of the new year and say, oh, uncle, auntie, nephew, cousin, I'm just calling to say happy new year. How have you been? Just do that for conscious sake. And then again, like Timlane said, when we find love, when the Bible says a man or a woman will marry and live, a man will marry and leave his family and cleave to the one, they become one. That statement is not saying a man will abandon his family or will ostracize his family. No, it's talking about relocation, leave, move. It's just about move from your parents' house, get and cleave to your wife. It is not saying abandon your family or ostracize them. So don't say it's me and my wife. After the Bible says no, it's only move. Leave means move, relocate. So most wives you marry today, the moment you marry them, they ostracize the man's family. They have their own mother living with them or their siblings. Whereas the man's family, they are witches. They must not come near. When you are doing this as a woman, your daughter is watching you. She too will marry tomorrow and go ahead to ostracize her in-laws. When you marry, your in-law is your new home. It's additional home, additional family. Your mother-in-law has a lineage in your life because she came back to your husband. So also your mother. Treat your mother-in-law like you treat your mother. After all, your mother offends you. Your mother beat you in the past. Your mother said hurting words to you, but you still keep her. She's still your mother. So if your mother-in-law errs, why ostracize her? Why keep your husband family away? And then the whole family too, the man too will stay there and be behaving like as if there's a remote control. There's no remote control anywhere. It's foolishness. You are living there, you don't see your family, you don't see your parents, they don't come, you don't go to them. When you want to call them, you go outside the house, or when you are in the office, your wife must not see you talking to your family. And you say you are a man. Is that how to be a leader? A leader is in charge, a leader is in control. You people must balance these things. Enough of running away from your family. Your family members, your uncles that did not kill you when you were young. How are they the ones to kill you now? And you didn't know they will kill you until you got married to a woman who is not telling you that your family is people. What is all that? If you're a man too, ostracizing your wife from her family, you're not doing well. If your husband or wife ostracizes you, leave that marriage. Your family will always be your family. If they are doing something wrong, call an uncle or auntie to talk to them. Don't ostracize your family. You do not fall from the tree. Your family is an integral part of you and will always remain so. I had an uncle those days. His wife did all this. Then when they went abroad, the woman took him. Let us go back to Nigeria. Let's go and establish. They came back to Nigeria, tried to establish something. Before you know it, the woman sent her children back. And we are all watching. We went to the house, called a meeting with the woman and the husband. And let's talk. What is happening? The husband told us in terms of the wife, all of you that came to talk about my wife, are you good in your husband's house? Go away. Leave us alone. And we all left. At the end of the day, the woman stylishly moved her kids abroad to UK. After some 2 months, she said she wants to go and take those children. They are too young to be alone. She located herself. They left the man in Nigeria. Along the line, they employed a boy who is living with the man. So the man suffered high BP, suffered diabetes, suffered everything. Eventually, before he was dying, he now called us. You people are looking at me. Talk to my wife now. Well, I say, which wife? Please leave us alone. This is your family. What am I trying to say? At the end of the day, the man called back to his family. Your family will always be there. They don't allow them to take control of your life. You have to be in control, both in your home and in your family home. Don't allow them to make decisions in your home, but draw the line that you must have a link to your family. You cannot do without your family. Don't wait till when you are dying or when the man or woman who made you ostracize them has finished dealing with you. You now need help. You now need someone to talk to. You now remember the family. If I were that family, they should not answer you. You can make hay while the sun shines now. Remedy these things. Cordiality is also good. You will enjoy it. It will help you live long, sir. God will help us. Please, I have to take my permission. Thank you.
All right, man. Thank you very much. Thank you, Michael. Sorry, it's your turn now. So I want you to also contribute towards the way forward.
Well, about the way forward, to me, I still believe that not all of us have discarded those things that really count, that matters about our family, social well-being. I'm someone, for example, this is not self-glorification, that I value relationships so well, irrespective of the association, whether at the family level, work level, or wherever. I really love to look out for people, and to me, it's something that should be intentional, that should be deliberate, and about those real family values in terms of promoting them. Just like Village Boy said, I don't know who said it. I think Village Boy, yes, that it has to be a personal thing. Now, personal in the sense that pick those things one after the other. What are those key values that you feel that you want to transfer to your children, or even as individuals that we want to improve on, because it is only when we are better at something that we can say others also should emulate. But whatever we are not good at, there's practically no way others will also learn from it. So one after the other, let us itemize them in terms of let me say family respect. For example, now my immediate elder sister she's about 3 years older than myself, and the one before him, I think the year before them perhaps is less than a year or something. But under no condition will my elder sister disrespect her elder brother, despite the fact that the margin between them is probably not even up to a year. If she does anything wrong, it is her responsibility, even when the elder brother is right, because in Yoruba they will say, Agbadida, Omodi la fi ń yàn jẹ. She will still have to apologize, and life moves on, life continues. And I feel these are things that we should really hold very dearly. And myself and my siblings, we live well, because my mom particularly really took her time to say, no, whatever happens to A happens to A, B, C, D, E. And whatever happens to D, I'm the last person. Also happens across the line. So we should order that whatever happens to my brother, whether the extended, whether the nuclear, we should see it as sense of responsibility to show concern. Don't let us say, I beg, to hell with whoever, let them move on with their life. So in a nutshell, I think it is something that as individuals, we have to be very deliberate about. Thank you.
Michael, thank you very much. Village Boy, how do we maintain our individuality and still not lose out on this, the benefit of our collectivism?
You see, the truth is that even when we are collective, we are not still losing that our individuality, actually. It's the ignorance of the system that make us feel that we do lose our individuality. Why do we have individual names? When something is done, they know who did it. It's as simple as that. So yes, I know that over time also we have to fight undue pressures by some overtly entitled mentality, where you think that because we are collective, so you have unhindered access to other people's personal resources. There is a line. There is a line of decorum. There is a line of decency. There are things, if you are cautioned, well cautioned, you should be able to know that, okay, yes, our day collective artists it has a demarcation. So you know that, okay, this is the area you should not go through, you should not go beyond. So you should have that discipline, that cultural discipline, to know where, just like we are talking about rights. Everybody has individual rights, but you know when your rights stop. You can't say because you have right to spread your hand and you are pointing your hand in my eyes. At that moment, I have the right to defend my eyes. So I think decency, decorum, cultural competence, I will call it cultural competence, is what we need to go forward. You don't lose your individuality, actually. And sometimes there is this philosophy that when you give out your power, you actually gain it. You see, you lift somebody up, your hand cannot stay down. I know that sometimes overtly abuse occur in anything that's human abuse. That's why we have court system. That's why we have prison for those who will cross the red line. So of course, even then, I mentioned the word governance at the earlier stage. There are checks and balances. There are processes where you can call somebody to order. Even when we have these cohesive families, etc., we still have some people that are crossing the red lines, and they were properly reprimanded and brought in line. So I think it's the fear, it's a unfounded fear, to think that if I subscribe to collectivity as we call it, I will lose my individuality. No, I don't. because me is me, what I'm bringing to the table. But there is a synergy because I'm bringing something, my best to the table, and somebody else is bringing his best or her best to the table. Then there is a synergy of purpose. There is a synergy of effort. So we achieve better result. You can never lose your individuality. It's just like a football, because you are a striker, you score. Even sometimes when I say you go back to defend, if a defender score a goal, will it not be counted? It will be counted for the team, but it's individual that will still score. But the result is for the team. Maybe if you can use that simple analogy, to be collective is to play in a team. At the end of the day, when there's a tournament, they will still give trophy to highest scorer, right? So why so? Because they still recognize that individuality in anything we do, because individual has a lot of responsibility. You have a responsibility for your actions. There are consequences for individual actions. So that does not take away that we are, even there is a scripture that says, hands joined together, no sinner shall go unpunished. Even if you are in a collective, your individual conduct or contribution to that collective still stand for you or against you. So I don't think you did. I totally don't agree that you lose your individuality because you subscribe to the collective. I don't think so.
All right, thank you very much, sir. I think we've had to some extent a robust discussion, and I want us to start rounding up. We have about 4 minutes left, so I want us to take 1 minute at most to just round up so that we can close. It's going to be 1 hour. So I'll start with Timileyin.
Thank you very much. We've indeed had a robust discussion today. So the highlight of everything today is that we should just be reasonable at whatever level we are. Maybe you are the person trying to reach out to someone. If they are reaching out to you, you should be modest with that as well. So someone is reaching out to you, don't expect them to call you forever. It will get to a point that they will just move on, right? And so many people are at that stage. You know, they are trying their very best to get you incorporated into their life and feel like you are a god or something. so many people are at that stage. So when someone, just like the village boy had said, if you are trying to, if we are doing it together, you want the best, I want the best, it will be very easy. And there wouldn't be pointing of fingers at the end of the day. So if someone is reaching out, the other person should also be a recipient. So another thing is always remember, especially for women and men, if you think you can tell your children that your father, their father's side, they are evil, especially if you have male siblings too. See, your whole family too. To some other woman out there, you are going to be the father side. So always remember, and we should always remember that whatever we want our children to learn, we should do it ourselves so they can learn from our actions, not just from our words. Thank you and have a great weekend.
Thank you, Timileyin. Somebody sent an article to us to publish a few days ago. And that article, when I read it, the village boy said I should read it. So I went and read it. And it was actually talking about, what happens to some African families where the children are all grown up. Then, somehow the woman goes to Omugo, what they call Omugo. I think many of us will understand what that means. And then the old guy is left alone to fend for himself. I read it and I was just thinking about, because it didn't really occur to me like that. I guess maybe because that man is already at that age where that kind of a thing matters, whereby to people like me or to people that are still younger, it don't really occur to you, even if your mother is the one that is doing it, But then I began to think about it. Michael.
Yeah, and I want to direct my admonition rather, to young ladies before now. But permit me to just say that sometimes ago there's a very older person, a lady that pointedly said that she does not pray to have a mother-in-law. And I told her that it is not a cause. Whatsoever you sow, you will definitely reap. Invariably, your own daughter-in-law will pray never to meet you at home. So it became a contentious issue, and the person took offense, and it was not a cause. So it's just an admonition to young ladies, and it's becoming a trend. Please never at any time pray against anybody's mother or to say that you don't want to have a mother-in-law. I beg you in the name of God. And as I tell you, the person up to today, though very older than myself, but still not yet married, perhaps that's what God is holding against her. Please, I beg in the name of God. Then to the question, it is also an appeal to grandmothers and intending grandmothers that bear in mind that you and your husband started life together, and it will be height of shall I say, insincerity and lack of commitment to your husband to leave him alone, to languish, to wander, and to suffer at old age. You are meant to complement yourselves till the last breath. So I appeal to you, dear mothers, intending grandmothers, please don't leave your husband alone. If you are going for Omugo, 2 months is enough to do that and come back home. Thank you.
All right, Village Boy.
Well, I would have loved to start from where Michael stopped, because the appeal is good, but there are some realities too. There are realities that when a woman gives birth, especially if it's the first experience, the men are not useful. That is the truth. You can't send the father-in-law. They are not useful. Father-in-law, who at that moment, what is he going to do? Is the fact it becomes more of a liability. So that's the reality of the Omugo. Yeah, I know over time it has become a bit abused, but also don't forget, most men at that age, especially African men, I can tell you for free that most men at that stage have the ego intact. There are women, there are men at that age who believe it is an insult to sleep in in-law house even for 2 nights. They won't go. That moment, most men are superbly stubborn, so they don't go. So, so we have to balance this thing. Even if you say, okay, you are abroad, send ticket to the husband and your mother and your father. The father may say, I'm not going nowhere. That me, I should go and be living in my in-laws' house. No, go for reverting. So those also things are there. We have to balance this thing. The fact that we are discussing these issues shows that we are concerned, and the change that we can think should also begin with us. Yeah, the guy that wrote the article, my old classmate, but far older than me anyway. He's in his 60s, and I respect all his views all the time. Yeah. So but that's also the reality. Then what do you do as a man? You also have to prepare. Men are supposed to prepare for their old age, their retirement. And it's because of some of this stress that make men to go earlier than the women. So, and many of us also begin to look at the dynamics. How do we adjust so that you don't become a victim? So, when men are vulnerable at old age, I think they should start admitting that they are vulnerable. It's nothing insulting to go to your in-law house. You are not going there to beg food. You train the wife, your child. You invested heavily in the child. So if you are going to eat the fruit of your labor, if it means go and spend 1 month in your daughter's place abroad, please go. There is nobody who's going to award you a certificate for being egoistic or being proud. So those are the second side of the coin. I believe this is a conversation we should still extend further, because there are fundamental issues that were raised now. And then we should take the issue of mother-in-law and daughter-in-law crisis. That dynamics is too hard to neglect. Maybe when we are doing that, we should be thinking of bringing more than one woman to the to the panel to discuss that, because it's a
Yeah,
I've had
I just
people.
hope it doesn't become complication.
It shouldn't. I've had people making as a prayer point that whoever they want to marry, the mother must have died. This I've been hearing this for 30, 35 years ago. It's not just a new thing. No.
Yeah, but I think it actually started with the church. Or I'm sorry, let me not say say it expressly.
No, the element of religion is in it. We cannot.
God bless you.
Yeah,
Not
necessarily church. Yeah.
Okay, not necessarily church. Yeah, but there's the element of even old people. The old people are mostly, they are probably evil. You understand? When you watch Nigerian movie,
that is lack of knowledge.
The old people that is the agenda, and when we watch this kind of things, somehow they communicate to our subconscious, and then gradually we build an attitude about it. These are extended family. As we become woke, even we think these people are extended family members. This one don't pay now. And especially because of the economic factor, there's so many things that we can talk about, but because of time, we won't be able to take it further. Because for instance, if I have 10 cousins and all of them are saying, send me 2K sharp.
Or get 2K.
I beg, I did Nigeria. I beg, I need urgent to go. I beg,
you accumulate. Yeah.
So some of these things are what cause in our day and time, Well, because I guess in those days when you tell somebody that you don't have, they somehow believe you, or maybe they gossip behind you. But today now, it's not.
Anyway,
there's economic pressure. There's the reality of economic pressure. That's no doubt about that.
Yeah. So we have to close now because I said we will not spend more than 1 hour. So, and it's 1 hour 6 minutes already. So next week we'll be back. There's a question that I still have, but I'm thinking not to bring it in at all. That is, historically, does marriage have to do with maintenance or social status? So we now look at it today. I saw a discussion somewhere where people are saying marriage has become like something that people used to. It's like a poverty alleviation program, So I want us to discuss something like that, So let's see. Maybe next week or thereabout we will discuss it. Thank you very much for all those who have watched us. Thank you for those who have shared. We are going to cut this video into pieces such that it becomes easy for people to quickly watch 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and then share. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate all of us, the viewers and our guests.